Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. I'm Father Steve Sellers, and thank you so much for tuning in today for this brief daily message of hope. I was playing a song that few people remember these days. It was written by Paul McCartney when he was 16 years old, and it became one of their popular songs in 1964. Called I'll Follow the Sun. A simple story about tomorrow may rain, so I'm going to follow the sun. And so it's a very simple song, but a pretty song from McCartney. And I want to talk today about something that in psychology that they're calling mindfulness. Being mindful of what's going on around you. Now, that's just another term for paying attention. You know, when I taught middle school students several years ago, occasionally I would give them an exercise where I would say, get out a sheet of paper and everyone be totally quiet. And for the next 15 minutes in total silence, I want you to write down everything that you can hear. And it was very difficult for a lot of them to do. 12, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, having a hard time hearing anything, because we're surrounded by noise. And the exercise simply demonstrated when we finally got quiet, there's a lot you can hear. You can hear things on the street, you can hear birds, you can hear noises off in the distance, you can hear people in the next room, you can hear other people breathing. You can hear a lot when you take it in and are mindful of what's going on, not only around you, but also within you. A lot of the different therapeutic techniques today have people being mindful, paying attention to their own breathing and how they're feeling and what their emotions are from moment to moment. God communicates us in so many different ways in His big effort to get through to us that we belong to Him, that He loves us. And we often miss all of it because we're not being mindful. And I was reading earlier this morning from the book of Proverbs. And chapter 2 in Proverbs describes how we become wise and learned by being mindful of what's going on all around us. And of course in Proverbs it's talking about being wise and how we seek wisdom. And listen to this passage from Proverbs 2, just the first 9 or 10 verses. Listen how many senses are involved in learning the ways of the Lord. And it starts out by saying, my child, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding, and if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as if it were silver and search for it as if for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, and from His mouth come knowledge and understanding. And verse 9 says, then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path, for wisdom will enter your heart. Our senses are involved in all that we do, and being mindful of what we're feeling from moment to moment, paying attention to what we're seeing with our eyes, paying attention to what we're hearing with our ears, paying attention to the words that come out of our mouth, paying attention to the way we're feeling from moment to moment, when we are aware of where we are and what's going on all around us and what's going on within us, then we can discern what God is saying to us. When we have to get away from the noise, which we do, we have a chance of understanding what God's calling us to do. And even more than that, God's calling out simply to tell us that He loves us and that we belong to Him. Be mindful today of the presence of God all around you and all within you. For He loves you. You belong to Him. Be mindful of His presence. God bless you, and I hope to see you again at this place tomorrow.